It's so good to be with you right here on ET now. We're calling this the monsoon storm because the Indian Parliament has seen a face-off of a different kind today over mob lynching, and of course the opposition and the Treasury benches sparring over whether Gujarat MLAs are being intimidated or have they been fed up by the Congress party. But to discuss that incident in Parliament and to look at events outside, we are joined by three very special guests. We are joined by Sanjay Jha of the Congress, Sanju Verma of the BJP, and of course Dr. Subhash Kashyap, a very eminent constitutional expert and a political commentator who joins us right here on ET now. Thanks very much each one of you for being with us. And I must begin with you as a neutral observer, Dr. Subhash Kashyap. The whole argument of Parliament and the whole issue in Parliament is Parliament is not legislating. It is not forming laws that it is supposed to form because the ruling and the opposition benches don't see eye to eye. And much of it is due to events that are happening outside of this. So if it's mob lynching, which should rightly be discussed within the House, it also has to do with the defection from the Congress to the BJP in a state like Gujarat and elsewhere. I'm just trying to understand from you, do we make our peace with the fact that events outside of Parliament are going to disrupt proceedings within?
Well, number one, it is most unfortunate that Parliament has ceased to be in the main a lawmaking body. While in the early Lok Sabhas, legislation or lawmaking used to occupy more than 50% or about 50% of the total time. Now it has been reduced to 12 to 20%. So it is no more doing its fundamental business of lawmaking. Second, the opposition in Parliament is acting not as opponents of the government, but as enemies of the government. Whosoever, whichever party, and all parties are equally guilty, whichever party or parties happen to be in the opposition, they behave in the same manner, same irresponsible manner, trying to disrupt the proceedings of the House, creating pandemonia and trying to make the House dysfunctional. Because they do not have the majority, they think it is no use along the government side to function. Parliament is supposed to be for taking decisions by debate and discussion. While opposition must have its say, the government, because it has majority, must have its way. That is what has been repeatedly said in regard to British Parliament and should apply to us equally.
All right, fair point indeed, and I think that's a very valid argument to open this debate with. Just for the clarity of our viewers and for the clarity of our panel here, for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to deliberate over mob lynching and the kind of debate that happened and the face-off that one saw in Parliament. And the next 15 minutes, we'll talk about what's happening in Gujarat and if at all India should be losing some sleep over how perhaps we are seeing a mockery of democracy on both sides of the spectrum. But let me bring this to you, Sanjay Jha, and I think the point that Dr. Kashyap has made is a valid one, that within Parliament there should be a lot of discussion, there should be a lot of debate, but Parliament is meant to legislate. Parliament is meant to make laws. We're not seeing enough of that happen. The government must have a way, even as the opposition must have a say. You've been at the receiving end, and yet we're seeing a lot of disruption in both houses.
Supriya, I'll keep it brief. Let me just remind you that unlike the Congress party, the BJP, led by a very eminent lawyer and Mr. Arun Jaitley, currently India's finance cum defense minister, who said during the time of the parliamentary gridlock that the BJP created during UPA 2, I mean, they did not let the government function at all, which is why perhaps laws like GST never went through when we were in government. He said, and he's on record to say this, not once but several times over, that political disruption is part of BJP's political strategy. We will not let the parliamentary disruption is part of BJP's political strategy. So basically you have a public confession of one of the senior most politicians from the BJP telling you in a brazen fashion that we will flout constitutional democracy to suit the political parochial ends of the party in opposition, which was the BJP. Coming down to the current issue, what do we have? We have an issue of mob lynching, which incidentally is disrupting India's social structure. It's giving it a very ugly communal complexion. This is not something, Supriya, that is just the Congress party debating it. You'll notice the entire opposition is united on the subject. I think all citizens across the country are united, even those who may have voted for the BJP. The international press has actually given India a huge negative publicity, has damaged this great country's reputation abroad as one of social anarchy, and where under Narendra Modi, sectarian politics is taking on an extremely horrific kind of monstrosity in terms of its image and execution. So you have an issue which has to be debated on the floor of parliament. Now the other time, I'll give you one example. When some of our MPs were protesting and they did nothing wrong compared to what the BJP has done in the past, they were suspended by the speaker. So you have a speaker who is not being dispassionate. You have a government that actually went after the the Alwar incident where Pehlu Khan was killed. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said in parliament that incident never happened. So you have a situation today of a government living in complete denial, allowing this country to crumble down in terms of its democratic and civil structure, allowing the minority to be thrashed and beaten up in BJP ruled states. While it comes to parliament and maintains a totally, it dismisses the opposition with contemptuous indifference. This is not the way a democracy functions, and I think the opposition has got every legitimate right to protest, and if the government doesn't listen, we will try and do our level best. We are doing it in the streets, we are doing it in social media, I'm speaking to you on television. We will also use parliament as a forum to send out a message to Mr. Modi's government that you will not be allowed to get away by trying to destroy Indian democracy.
Sanjay, I get your point there. I get your point that you will take to the streets. I get your point that you will be protesting in parliament, talking on TV debates. I get your point on all of that, but you're raising some very serious issues within the House. You are saying that the government is complicit with these mob lynchers. You are saying that the government is supporting the Bajrang Dal and the VHP to carry out an agenda like this. So there is an indirect blessing by the government. I'm going to get Sanju Verma to respond to this, and I will then come to you for a clarification. But Sanju Verma, the charge on the BJP today is that you are complicitly supporting acts like these. Why is the Prime Minister not talking in the din of the House? Why is Prime Minister Modi speaking against communalism on radio and Mann Ki Baat but not making a statement in Parliament? That's the question that parliamentarians today want to know, and which is why Parliament is log-jammed. The Congress has a lot of answering to do, and I will take it up next with them. But for you first.
Supriya, you had a very long-winded question for me, and Sanjay Jha got uninterrupted time. You didn't interrupt him even once. I hope you will extend me the same courtesy. First things first, the Prime Minister in August 2016 and then specifically on June 29th, 2017, barely a few weeks back, categorically said that Gaurakshaks or cow vigilantes who take law in their own hands will not be spared. And while anti-cow slaughter laws are prevalent in 24 out of the 29 states in India, that said, lawlessness in any form or vigilantism in any form is something which the BJP-led NDA government does not endorse. So, has the Prime Minister made a point? He has made a point more than once in the public domain. Let's not be blind and deaf to it. Point number 2, about Sanjay Jha talking about democratic values being usurped by the BJP. He mentioned about GST. Let me remind him that GST was not passed for 10 long years under the Congress-led UPA because they could not even get the basics right regarding the revenue neutral rate or compensation to states. Point number 3, the BJP, he said, and you asked me, is it hand in glove with the so-called cow lynchers? I think that's such a presumptuous statement to make. I'm surprised you even asked me that, with no offense to you. Don't forget, be it the Dadri incident relating to akhlaq or be it the Pehlu Khan incident, and now recently the Junaid Khan incident in Ballabgarh, there have been categorical reports that the complainant has not even mentioned beef. So this whole spin by pseudo-seculars, I think the facade has broken. People can see through the halablu and the brouhaha. Point number 4, the worst riots in India's history, be it the 1984 Sikh riots, be it the 1989 Bhagalpur riots, be it the manner in which 60 children and women were burned to death in the Sabarmati Express, or for that matter, the recent Monsoon riots, where the likes of Rahul Gandhi's confidant, who was riding with Rahul Gandhi on a motorbike with no plate, Jeetu Tiwari, DP Dhakad, Shyam Gujjar, where are these people? They went underground after there were concrete reports that they were not only
Sanju
complicit,
Verma.
they instigated the
One
Monsoon
second.
violence. And what did we see Rahul Gandhi doing? He disappeared to Italy. He disappeared to Italy. Why aren't you asking questions of Sanjay Jha? What was the vice president of the Congress party doing in Italy after his party men instigated riots in Monsoon?
No.
What was Rahul Gandhi doing in December 2016 in Europe after he raised a stink about demonetization? Let's not talk about accountability, because the Congress is the last party which needs to espouse pearls of wisdom on this front. We've not forgotten 1975. We've not even forgotten how Indira Gandhi attracted so many MPs from the Janata Party in 1978 on the pretext of defection and anti-defection, what have you. So I think the Congress has a lot of answering to do. The people have seen through their facade. They can disrupt parliament. They can hold these not in my name, gatherings at Jantar Mantar, but they do not reach out to people. And that is the reason they have been losing one election after another and have lost face at the hustings.
Okay, fair point indeed. That's a long answer, and you'll be fair to me that I did not interrupt you there, Sanju Verma. But let me take a quick rebuttal coming in from Sanjay Jha. And Sanjay Jha, some of what she's saying is right, but some of what she's saying I don't agree with. What she's right about is the fact that the Congress seems to raise issues and not carry it to its logical end. I am nobody to question where Rahul Gandhi was and was he really visiting his grandmother? Why did he need to do it at the time? Could he not postpone this? I am not into that. But I do want to ask you, when you carry on an issue, why not take it to its logical end? Also, the issue is that if the Congress party is going to question mob lynching, what about DSP Ayub Pandit, who was attacked in the valley? How are we not talking about that? The fact that Junaid turns out to be a case of, a seat that could not be shared instead of beef. I mean, I'm just trying to understand these questions from you. Or will you believe that the law is being twisted? You'll have your say, but I do want to ask you, is the Congress party not introspecting?
Supriya, let me tell you that I completely agree with you that whether it's a farmer issue, whether it's mob lynching, whether it's the rising joblessness in India, whether it's a disastrous foreign policy of Narendra Modi in terms of both Kashmir, China and Pakistan, I think end of day these are issues on which we have to have a sustained debate. I can assure you that what you're seeing in Parliament and what you're seeing from Congress party on social media and various other platforms is the whole focus on getting the public attention to be on items that concern India's future, whether it's society, whether it's economics, or whether it's our international relations. And we understand that Narendra Modi has this fabulous propaganda machine. Last data I read, on television alone he spent 1100 crores to promote his personality cult. So to answer your question, I agree with you that the Congress party and the opposition is going to be on a continuous overdrive to ensure that the people of India in every nook and corner discover the fraud that is being committed on them by Mr. Modi. Now, I want to answer a point because she made some extremely, I thought, slanderous and below the belt statements. But let me remind her that the Supreme called Mr. Narendra Modi Nero. Supreme Court, not the Congress party. The Supreme Court, Sanju Verma, called Narendra Modi a Nero because they said Gujarat burned, 1,000 died and the Chief Minister was busy snoozing. Please worry about your own morality in public life. The larger point, Supriya, as I don't want to get into a tutu meme with the BJP every time. You're raising fundamental points in a discussion. I think Indian society today is fractured. It has fissures. And we need to worry about it, and we need to worry about it beyond mere politics of BJP and Congress. I think all political parties, particularly the opposition today, are pointing fingers at the BJP because they've dismissed it not like an organized conspiracy, which is mob lynching, but they're saying it's a law and order problem. Well, if it's a law and order problem, it's very peculiar. Right. Why is it only happening in BJP states? And I'll agree with you that lynching is also now killing people from different religion, but primarily it is an anti-minority conduct.
Oh my God.
Oh my, I don't quite get it. I mean, you know, there is a mob lynching that happens in Kashmir. What is that anti-minority conduct? No, I will let you come in, Sanju, but just give me 1 minute. Must get in Subhash Kashyap, and I want to change gears and talk about Gujarat. So I must get in a word in from Dr. Subhash Kashyap. And, you know, Dr. Kashyap, while we can all debate whether it's happening into minorities, is it religious or not, what do you think is the basis of this argument? Can we divorce religion from mob lynching? That's point number one. And point number two is, do you believe the opposition obviously wants to leverage this, but do you believe the Prime Minister can shut them all up if he makes a statement on the floor of the House, something that he has not done till date?
As a citizen of India and as a student of Constitution and politics, I feel very sad that both religion and community have been politicized. Equally saddening is the fact that secularism has also been politicized. Both of them, religion on one side and secularism on the other side, they are being used as parts of vote bank politics. Those who talk of secularism are not necessarily better secularists than those who use religion for political purposes. The two are, I think, very similar in the sense that in the struggle for power, in the quest for power, they use everything, including high ideals, as tools.
Okay, so quest for power and these things are being used idly by troops. But let's turn focus, and I want to talk about the other elephant in the room, which is what is happening in Gujarat. And they are very, very direct questions that I have for you, both Sanjay Jha and Sanju Verma, and I'll keep getting Dr. Kashyap as an expert there. Why have you taken your MLAs to Karnataka? What is it that you're fearing? Sanjay Jha.
Supriya, once again, I'm just going to try and keep this as brief as possible, although I can wax eloquent on this for a long time. You know, just imagine that the latest data that I saw on the internet, you know, kind of manifested that over 220 people have died in Gujarat floods. Now, just imagine how absurd and atrocious the circumstances are in Gujarat, that at this point, when they should have been focusing on saving lives and bringing the infrastructure back to normal, the Bharatiya Janata Party has been actually intimidating, trying to offer huge, and I'm going to give you a number, anywhere between 10 to 20 crore rupees to our MLAs to try and get them to come to the BJP side so that they can cross vote during the Raj Sabha elections. I think, to my mind, this is political immorality at its lowest ebb. And now, this is not rhetoric. I'm not making this statement on your television channel with any degree of irresponsibility. There is a whole document. We have submitted it to the Election Commission. We have given the names of all the MLAs from the Congress party, specific details of the amounts that were offered. Those MLAs have publicly recorded their statements. We have given it to the Election Commission, saying this is not just a violation of the Prevention of Corruption Act. I mean, this is making a mockery of our democracy completely. This is what I call, as I'm sorry to hurt you, Sanju Verma, but this is the expansion of what MODI stands for, the murder of democracy in India. That's what Modi manifests. And it's not just, by the way, in Gujarat. It is happening in Uttar Pradesh. You can hear the statement of Akhilesh Yadav ji on that one. We all know how Bihar was hijacked.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. One last point, Supriya. Remember, this is the same BJP which has hijacked Arunachal Pradesh. It's hijacked Goa, it's hijacked Manipur, and now Bihar.
Right.
And it tried that in Uttarakhand as well.
I will not allow this uninterrupted monologue by Sanjay Jha.
I get that point. Sanjay, no, there is no unexpected monologue. You must answer your question. You must listen to the other party also. I think for a change, let's do that. But I want to ask you this question. Till now, and Sanjay Jha, you have a lot of answering to do there as well. Why is it that people are deserting your ship and going to the BJP? Why is it that when floods are happening, your MLAs are sitting and partying in Karnataka? You have a lot of questions to answer, and I will put those questions to you. But Sanju Verma, I will ask you the question on political immorality. So far, the Congress was corrupt and untouched and bad in the state of Gujarat, and suddenly they're all saints to join your party. Are you not intimidating? I'm just asking you this question. Suddenly the Congress MLAs are the ones you want to embrace? but till now they were untouchable. What is happening in the state of Gujarat? I mean, what kind of monologue are both of you making in the name of political morality?
Can I now answer, Supriya? Can I please answer?
Sure, go ahead, please.
Yes, and you were courteous enough not to interrupt me last time, and I'm sure, you will do that this time as well, because Sanjay Jha has had 2 turns. Yes, Sanjay Jha has been ranting and raving, and Modi bashing is the only thing that's par for the cause for the Congress, and that's why they're down to 44. Be that as it may, let me first specifically, before answering your question on Gujarat, you did not allow me a chance to rebut Sanjay Jha on his earlier talk on cow lynching. Let me very specifically say that he says that, the Modi government indulges in slander. Tell me, Supriya, what can be more slanderous than Sandeep Dixit, whose only claim to fame is the fact that he's the son of the ex-Chief Minister of Delhi, calling Bipin Rawat, the Chief of Army Staff, Sadak Ka Gunda, and Rahul Gandhi gives a meek apology, and the only thing he does is, okay, we distance ourselves from this
comment. The question I'm raising on Gujarat, no, I'm sorry, no. Sanju Verma, answer the question I'm raising on Gujarat. Okay. Sanju, no, okay, I will have you answer the question on Gujarat first. I want you to answer the question on Gujarat.
Okay, Supriya, I heard you. Please, just calm down, hold your horses. Now on Gujarat, let me ask Sanjay Jha a question. And Supriya, I think, that's something that's weighing on the mind of your audience as well. I'm answering on Gujarat. Banaskantha is the district which is heavily inundated with water and is underwater. I want to know what are 6 Congress MLAs doing in Eagleton. Where is Mr. Nitish Vyas, the General Secretary of Congress? What is the State Congress Chief of Gujarat, Mr. Ashok Gehlot, doing in Eagleton Resort? What is the MLA from Vadgaon, Mr. Maniklal Waghela, doing in Eagleton Resort? What is the MLA from Dhantera doing in Eagleton Resort? Does Mr. Sanjay Jha have an answer? Point number 2, we have been categorical. Amit Shah has gone on record to say, if you have the proof, as Mr. Sanjay Jha claims, give it to the Election Commission, give it to the police force. What credibility do your MLAs who have been leveling allegations against BJP have when they are going to be enjoy a birthday party at night, when there are 250 people who've died, and all your 6 MLAs from Banaskantha, which is the most distressed area, are partying, are gorging on 5-star food, and you come here and give me lectures on what Modi stands for? I do not want to get into a bar dancer who's supposedly the Congress party president. So please do not lecture me on defamatory stuff, because if you come down to that level, we can have a gloves off kind of a scene, which I don't want to get into. Let me remind the Congress, Supriya. What did they do in Jharkhand in 2005?
Right.
The BJP had 30 seats, they had 17. No, let me tell you the Sarkaria Commission guidelines and SR Bombay case of 1994 versus the Union of India. If you take both the Sarkaria Commission guidelines and these...
Sanju, just give me a minute. Sanju, just give me a minute, please. Sanju Verma, give me a minute. Yes. I will ask that question to Sanjay Jha. Sanju Verma, give me a minute, please. You have to stop talking for a minute. Sanjay Jha, the point that both I and Sanju Verma raised, and Sanju Verma has not answered my question. No, Sanju, you will have to keep quiet and listen to me, because this is my show and I am asking questions of both of you. Just for the clarification of both Sanjay Jha and Sanju Verma. Sanju, while you have raised a very important point that what are Gujarat MLAs doing in the Eagleton Resort in Karnataka, that's an important point, and I want Sanjay Jha to answer that question. I also asked you that how come the MLAs who have defected to the BJP are being welcomed, because they were not good enough. They were opposition. They were a part of the Congress party that was being loathed at. Why have those MLAs suddenly become these saints that you are welcoming? But Sanjay Jha, before I go to Sanju Verma, I want you to answer the question. You say there are deadly floods in Gujarat. What are your MLAs doing? Why are they not with their constituents? Why are they sitting in Karnataka? Why are there visuals of them partying? And why are you people willing to desert you? There has to be a problem within, right?
Well, I'll answer this in brief, Supriya. I'm not going to, kind of indulge in a pussyfooting around. I will bite the bullet here. It's very unfortunate, and we are extremely disappointed with those Congress MLAs who have deserted us to go to join the BJP. Because I believe, and this is my fundamental belief, that when you join a political party, the only thing that should get you to be there and stay there forever is your ideology. I mean, I'm publicly telling you on your channel no matter what happens, I will always be with the Indian National Congress Party, because that's my ideology. I believe in liberalism, I believe in its secularism, I believe in its progressive tolerant culture, I believe in the inclusive growth model. Now, it's very unfortunate, and I agree with you, that the 6 MLAs who left, the Congress Party needs to make sure that we don't get such turncoats in the party in future. But the other side of the story is, here is a party that threatens them, that intimidates them, uses investigative agencies, and throws 20 crores cash.
If you are for ideology, you couldn't be threatened and intimidated.
Make it happen. Well, there are some, unfortunately, whose personal. I'm saying there are some whose moral fiber is elastic. It's unfortunate, but I'll agree with you. We need to get such third-grade elements out of the party.
So there is a lot of very elastic. So there is a lot of very elastic moral fiber in our society right now. But I do want to get in a word in from Dr. Kashyap. And Dr. Kashyap, I want you to be candid here and answer this question for me. What we are seeing in Gujarat on both sides of the spectrum, whether it is the BJP that's openly embracing MLAs coming from the Congress, or the Congress that has not been able to protect its own flock and its own shape, and has fled to Gujarat, to Karnataka in many ways. Are we seeing the death of political ideology? Are we seeing the death of political morality, both on the part of the Congress Party and on the BJP? And Sanju Verma and Sanjay Jha, I am sorry, your arguments are not defensible. Dr. Kashyap.
Well, I'll begin by saying that you have been asking very simple, direct questions of the two sides. And I find that none of the two sides have answered those simple, direct questions satisfactorily. In the debates at TV, a trend has developed recently that there are accusations and counter-accusations, but no direct replies to the accusations that are made. As for your question to me, I can answer the position under the Constitution and the laws, but what you are asking, I believe, is a question of morality and question of adherence to ideologies by the respective parties. I think adherence to ideology has become a part of history. It is no more the driving force with any political party, almost any political party. They are concerned with somehow getting to power and somehow remaining in power, either getting to power and once they are somehow remaining in power. They are not concerned with ideology. Ideology is taking a back seat for quite some time.
Okay. Ideology has taken a backseat, and we are perhaps seeing political morality as well. But on that note, Sanju Verma always making a fierce defense for the BJP, Sanjay Jha being very eloquently defensive for the Congress Party. But the fact is that both of you cannot defend the allegations that are coming in from Gujarat, and which is why there is some soul searching to do for our political class. What happened to political ideology? What happened to political morality? Why can the Congress Party not put its flock together and make them stay back? Why is it that the BJP today is very happy to welcome the same Congress MLAs that it loathed till some time back? I think that's a very, very important argument that we've put on the table. There's some soul searching and a lot of pondering to do. But on that note, Sanjay Jha, Sanju Verma and Dr. Subhash Kashyap, thank you very much for joining in. We call it a night here on this very special edition.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.